Welcome to this evening's live stream. It's live at 5 and it's a Tuesday evening. Now, last week we did this. And this week we're going to colour it in. Now, I want to go into the process of this just a little bit, because for those of you who haven't been painting for very long and are quite new, I think it's really important to cover this. So many of my students, and to a certain degree, I think, this was the same for me as well. When you start painting, it's like you think you can do it all in one go. You've got the big brush, the little brush, and the tiny weeny brush to do everything. And, finish a painting in an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, almost like a Bob Ross style. Well, if you're going to do a Bob Ross painting, I suppose, yeah, you could do that. But what I'm teaching here is a classical technique in how to produce some really stunning pieces of art. And that doesn't happen in minutes or hours. So it doesn't happen in days either, in the sense that it happens in due process. So what we do here is we have an underpainting. And before this, we might have done some charcoal sketches, kind of, what should we do today sketches. Or you could have had a tree here, but you moved it over there. You might have had a rock here, but you disappeared it completely because it didn't fit. These are design sketches, and normally I tend to do those in about 5-10 minutes, maybe half an hour max over a coffee. Once I've got the design sketch done, then I'll do the underpainting, which is, in this case, it's an imprimatura. I'll say that again. Imprimatura. It's Latin, it means first layer, which is this. Now, this is totally dry. It would have been dry probably within about an hour, 2 hours after painting it or finishing this process. It dries through evaporation, this, because it's loaded with solvent. Now, the next layer to go on, as we layer the paint, is a simplistic blocking in stage. So big blocks of colour. We don't want to go too detailed. In fact, no detail. We're going to be using a brush. Actually, I'm going to be using this one. And you can see by my finger, if I can get it side by side, here we go. It's not huge, it's not small, it's a number 4. So where it's light, we put light. Where it's dark, we put dark. It's first mapping in of colour. Now, once that is done, we can take this area here, say, and we can complicate it into smaller shapes. Now, not weeny tiny pixels by pixels, but here might be, 10 million leaves. You don't want to be painting 10 million leaves. But currently, let's say it's one colour. Let's say it's one light green. We want to make it complicated. We'll put a few darks in there and medium greens in there to break it up, to give it its shape. Now, that's the second stage, or the layer after this one. So underpainting is this. First layer, about to do. Second layer, complicating the first layer. And the final layer is, for want of a better word, detail. But I prefer to call it the complication, or to complicate a finished painting, because you determine that. How detailed you make it is up to you. I don't like detail. I prefer to focus on the passion of the painting, the emotion of the painting, because that's what sells a painting. Two people, couple, whatever, come into a gallery and they'll literally, their eyes will light up when they see the painting in the wall which they love, they fall in love with. They can't see the detail, they can't see the name of it, they can't see anything. All they see is an emotional feeling, an emotional feeling of, wow, look at that. That's what sells your paintings. So that's what we want to achieve. And that's my primary goal. I don't want to go too detailed in a painting because it just consumes you with time. Focus on the emotion. What's the message that you're giving your viewer? What is that? That's what we should be focusing on. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to start this off. Let's get straight in. Now, if we look at the palette, I've got following colours. I've got titanium white, Naples yellow, yellow ochre, cadmium yellow lemon, cadmium yellow deep, cadmium orange, and this is cadmium orange light. This is sap green, and this is viridian green. Now, sap green is a yellow green, viridian green is a blue green. Here we have raw umber, and here we have ivory black, and that's it. I've made a couple of strings. I've made a string of green from the lemon, and here, this is just a darker variant of the yellow ochre, and this is a darker brown, and that's basically it. We've got solvent, which I'm going to put a bit on the brush just here. Here we go, that's solvent. And I'm putting solvent on because this is basically the first coloured layer. I'm going to focus on some of these lights. So let's see how we go. Now, the secret with this, and this is going to be maybe counterintuitive for a lot of you, is I don't want to put a lot of colour on. This is the first layer. I don't want it to be too thick, and I'm going to look at this and judge it. Might make it a little bit darker than this in a second. So just going to scrub that in. Now, what I mean by don't go too dark or too much oil paint is I don't want that happening. Let me show you. I don't want this, where you've got a big dollop of paint on there. That's not going to serve you well. So we'll scrub that in. We've got a little bit of light, maybe daylight sticking in here. That's good. But primarily, we just want to scrub this in a little bit. There's some browns in here, but we won't worry about those too much at this stage. And I think I'll leave putting the blues in, because one colour I didn't put out is blue. To be honest, I didn't really think we'd need it, but maybe I should have had some blues. I don't think so. We're fine. A tiny bit of blue which is shining out through these leaves I can stick in as on the next layer. Just want to get this bare bones of it down, really. That's it. So you can see not much care, not much detail. I'm not going, oh, I've got to go very gently here. No, don't do that. Just make it green. It's going to be okay. Where else is some green? There's a bit of green here, light green coming in from that, whatever that is. I think it's a rocky bank. Now, there's some light greens in here. It's basically I'm just chasing the light. I don't want to go too fiddly. My aim here is to be done within, really probably mostly done within half an hour. Might take a little bit longer, but ish. Some greens coming across here. Trying to keep my hand out of the way of the camera lens so you can see where the brush is working. Some greens here. Now you can see how wonderfully detailed I put that, what was it, Christmas tree in, and that's okay. Some kind of green thing coming in here, so we'll put a few bits and pieces in there. And as the smaller fir tree. Small tree in there. That's about it for that. Bit of green there coming across. Now at the end of this, it should look-ish a bit like a painting. It's not going to be a finished painting, but it's hopefully will have the right colours in the right place-ish. That's all I'm hoping for. We don't need nothing else. It's not, they're going to win a prize at this stage for this. So that's okay. Carry on pulling these colours in. So this is really just roughly scrubbing in where these colours are going. Nothing more. Bit of light, looks a bit mossy, so there's a bit of green coming up there. It's definitely a bit of moss or something on this one. It's an interesting fact for you if you're ever in the forest and you're a bit lost and you haven't got a compass, you can't see the sun. Have a look at the trees. If you see a tree with moss growing on it on one side, it's probably because it's pointing south. The rest of the tree trunk is going to get sunlight, so it won't be as mossy. So if you see green on one side of a tree, it's pointing south. Bit more green. I should have mixed a bit more of this green up, but never mind. Let's just sharpie this in. So you can see there's no real finesse to this. You don't need it. You're not going to win a prize for this stage. Just stick it in. Now let's mix it a bit more colour. So here we go. A bit of lemon. Show you how to mix this. Touch of sap green. Touch more, that's too much. A bit more lemon. Now, whatever you do, don't use the brush to mix your colours with. Right. Always use a palette knife because it saves your brushes getting really dirty. And palette knives are easy to clean. So this is me teaching you something right now. Don't use your brush to mix the colours with. Oh dear. Right, let's go. So over here comes about there's a bit of green here. You can see it's not too bad a colour, it's kind of ish okay, and ish okay is okay-ish for now. A few patches. I'll put the more sophisticated colours on in all the sophisticated areas. But Northern New will carry on. I probably could do with a little bit of solvent, but it's not really necessary, because if I was going to, like, go straight into painting this within half an hour or an hour or so after doing this stage, then sure, okay, I'd maybe would want it to be a bit drier, but actually I'm not coming back to this till next week, to the next Tuesday, where we'll continue with this project till completion. And because I thought we'd do that, make a change, make it a bit kind of, like a special thing, so you can see the progress. This is not hugely darker, but it is a wee bit darker. Oh, we've got a runny. Don't want many of them. That's it. So make this, I'm trying to think of a way to describe this for you. It would probably be patchy. So a wee bit patchy. Don't worry about going, like if you got the wrong colour slightly, well, it's okay because you can adjust the colour next time. We want it to be as reasonably accurate as we can, but let's not lose sleep over it. It's an underpainting still, but it turns into a coloured underpainting, or the blocking in stage, it's also known as. Bit of this down here. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it's a bit there, a bit here. Now I've got blue coming in around here. I don't want that. I want it to be the darkest side of the forest, so I'm going to carry on sticking out in as foliage. Oh, that's the tree trunk. Whoops. There we go. Right. Now, this stage is not going to take too long to do. I'm still a bit light on this green, so yeah, it's going to put a few fiddly bits in, but nothing too serious. Now, I know when you're a student and you're just learning, this stage can be terribly stressful. Do remember these simple facts. I've never had a painting bite me. Never. So you're safe. Just don't worry. If you stick something in the wrong spot, it's okay. It's not going to be the end of the world. So it's going to be what it is. You can correct it. And if anything, this is going to sound weird, I tend to encourage my students to mess things up. It's more fun. I mean, you've messed it up. Oh, great. Okay, nothing much can go wrong now, can it? Because it's a mess. So now we can look at how to correct the mess. Now you're learning something. So I tend to encourage all of my students to not worry too much about getting it right or wrong, but just doing and having some fun. And paint happy. Do the best you can, yeah, sure. But don't worry about it if it goes a bit pear-shaped on you. It's okay. And one last thing really on that subject. Forests are so untidy. Have you ever seen a clean or tidy forest? No. We're a mess. So don't worry. Who's to say that's not the way the forest was? Well, let's just put that in. And if you don't quite fathom what I'm saying here, it's okay, because it's a learning process. In time, you'll go, oh, that's what he meant. Good. There's loads of time to get things right. You don't have to worry too much about that. No. Oh, stick a bit there. Complication up here. None of this exists, by the way, because the painting itself is there. This is extra space. It's because I got the wrong size canvas board. But don't tell anybody that, because it makes me look bad, right? It's fine. So we're just blocking these colours in, and not be too precious over it. Softening some of these edges up, making it more tree-esque. It already looks a bit tree-esque on the screen, so yeah, I'm too close to this. I mean, look at me. I'm a couple of inches away from my nose, so I'm having to look at the computer screen. And it's beginning to look a bit like Christmas. It's okay. It's good. Right, let's carry on. Bit of green around here. Now, these greens are darker, but I'm putting some of this medium green on because I can then complicate it up and it'll be more convincing. I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. Right. Okay, that's a bit light. Gosh, my hand is shaking because of this injury to my head. I hope that's gonna stop. I hope that's gonna stop in due course. Otherwise, I'm gonna be a natural blender. Stick the brush on. You know, I'm really hoping this is going to pass, and I'm going to be right. And I'm not a blendy person. Anyway, we're getting there. It's beginning to look okay. I'm going to put a bit of lemon in here. Oh, gosh, am I going to detail? No, I'm just sticking some lemon in. I want to get that bit of a higher chroma. And here. That's okay. Yeah, it's not so bad. Let's put that down. Carry on. Now, actually, I'm going to go with a darker brush. Just saw something which I'll share with you. This brush I was using for all this stuff up here. Look at that. It's a brush with my nail varnish on. We should discuss this in more detail. This brush is now 10 or 12 years old, and look at it, it's as good as new. Rosemary & Co brushes. I don't have anything like a monetary reward or anything like that. I don't think I'm pushing the brushes because of that reason. I just think they're amazing. Really, really good brushes. So I'm just picking another brush out. Right. Now I'm going to go darker. Now the darker greens are bluey greens. Can you see that? They're bluier. And they're bluier, if that's a word. I don't think it is it? Well, we'll make it one. Because there's less sunlight. Now sunlight is a yellow-esque light. It's not yellow as in Codian yellow, but it's not cold. We orbit a star which is slightly yellow as opposed to blue stars. And because of that, sunlight coming from it makes things warmer, yellowier. But if that's not a word again, we'll make it into one next week. So that is actually, it's kind of useful knowledge because it's important to know this sort of stuff. Anyway, if we were orbiting a cold blue star like Sirius or something which is blue, everything would be bluey, but we don't. Sol, our star, is a little bit yellowy. The light coming from it is yellow spectrum, so in sunlight it appears the grass is light yellow as opposed to a shadowy blue colour, and it helps with depth in our paintings. That's why it's quite important to know that one. Sometimes you need a little bit of technical stuff in your head so you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. I don't want to overload you with technical stuff, but that's a little bit important. Look how this is beginning to come now. It's beginning to shine out like a forest should. Right, so this is a dark. It's actually, some of it's mostly brown, but I'm putting dark green in because I can put the brown on top of the dark green and it will be a better result. Right, again, same. This is a rock, and it's predominantly dark brown, but there's some greens in it, so I'll stick, that's the same reason. There's a shadow. Let's put that shadow in a bit more dominant. Doesn't have to be too accurate, but as accurate as we can do it is good. I'm going to go just a touch of black. Ooh, shadow. I nearly painted my tablet then. I got the tablet just to the just out of screen shot. You can probably see it on the on my, if you look at me, it's here. That's my tablet. I need to put paint on the tablet. Blowing on the head. I do laugh at me sometimes. Well, actually quite a lot. Passes the time of day. Never take yourself too seriously. Can't see the point, other people do. I don't need to help them. Right, here we go. So again, this is a bit dark. It sticks up there, comes across. Again, similar. Now, let's stick some of these trees in. So this is a dark brown, but I'm thinking it might be quite good to have it as a bit of green, but we'll see what happens. I just went into the green. If you stick the wrong colour in the wrong place, it's okay. It's not going to be a big thing. I mean, yes, of course, try not to do it if you can, but if you do it and it happens, oh, it's okay. Not a problem. It's better to learn how to cope with these happy accidents, if you want to call them that, than to not cope with them, because they will happen. All sorts of things happen when you're having fun. Right. Bit in there. And I'm going to go to the green, even though I've got, well, it is a dark green brush, so just using. Stick some of these in. Kind of goes up. Yeah, okay. So we're getting on quite well with this now. Let's have a look where we are with this. So we've got some trees which are coming down here, mainly trunks. Sorry, I'm mindful I'm obscuring the, I'll try and do downward strokes. There you go, there's a tree. There's another one. Obviously, when you're doing your own painting, you're not worried about where your hand is, but if I'm teaching or doing a demo, then I want to keep my hand off of out of the camera view. I want to be able to see what I'm doing. Right, just coming down with strokes on this. Again, it doesn't have to be too refined. A lot of this is some dark area, undefined. Let's have a look at this. Bit of dark coming in. And there's a bit of dark over here. Now, if you put black on top of green, or even yellow, if you put it on yellow, you're going to get a green. If you put it on green, you're going to get a dark green. So don't fret too much. This, although this is black, oops, it's not going to be like black. It's just going to be a dark, it's going to darken the colour you got underneath because it's wet. We're basically painting wet on wet here, so I'm not going to be too accurate. Now, let's have a look over here. This is predominantly dark. Some lighter bits. I want to go for a prize here, but at the end of the day, it's okay. It's going to be all right. As indeed, it looks like a painting already. And gosh, you know. Now there's a product which I use a great deal of. It's called Venetian turpentine. Now Venetian turpentine is a turpentine. It's a little bit stinky, not too much, but nonetheless have a window open if you're using it. But the big thing is it's sticky. It's like honey, and it means I can paint layer upon layer, wet on wet, and it doesn't blend unless I want it to. For me to get it to blend, I would have to work at it. Whereas if this was Venetian turpentine, I could do that and it wouldn't blend in with the background. So it's quite useful for doing stuff with. Okay, I'll do more. What's that stuff called? Detail. Later, next week. I'm just preparing the area for this week, covering it in paint, and it's almost done now. It's almost done. A few downward strokes to make it look a bit like sticky uppy forest bits. I mean, yeah, it's all right. Now, let's have a look at this. I want a couple of bits of dark areas in here, if I can get that. Where else do I see dark? And bear in mind, this is not black, it's dark brown. Might have a bit of black on the brush, but predominantly it's brown and dark. I'm going to come a few upward flicks. That's it. So, where are we? I want to get this in a bit more dominant. Yeah. This is quite a large tree. Or at least it looks like a large tree. Where I'm standing. I took this photograph in, where was I? I think this could have been the New Forest in Dorset, but not 100%. I've always got the camera equipment with me whenever I go walking. You never know when you're going to see something. It's going to go, ooh, make a nice painting. Okay. So we're almost done here. Bit of don't know if that's too accurate, but it looks good, so I'll stick it in. Here goes a dark area here, which looks like the shadow of the tree. It's a bit shadow. Now let's get this green. So lighter, darker, kind of mixture. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, okay, it's not too bad. It's a little bit less green than I would like. Actually, no, I think it's okay. Change my mind over that. Soften the bottom. Make it a bit greenier over here. But hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing now, really, which is just having a bit of fun. I'm sticking some bits and pieces in. I'm not stressing. And if you feel any stress when you're painting, you know, we'll have a cup of tea. Don't need to be stressed. I think we're almost done, you know. I've got a few bits here and this which I need to do, so I'm going to just use a different brush for that. Here we go. Use this one, and we're going to tuck into this a little bit of solvent so it flows. Not too much. Right. Now I think, but not very often, that this is, I don't know, mud, dead leaves, something along those lines. It seems like a height of summer, so maybe it's just a few fallen leaves. Who knows? If it was winter, I'd say, yeah, definitely, you know, browned off leaves, but I don't think it is. Not quite sure what it was. Okay, pushing that over. Now I'm making this untidy. Remember the untidy forest? There's no vacuum cleaners between the trees. It's messy. And therefore, to make your forest look more realistic, you need to make it messy too. Otherwise it looks too neat. I don't want a neat forest, I want a messy one. It's supposed to be painting realism. Just in case you were wondering what we were doing. Right, tiny bit of green. Oh, it's a tiny bit more than I was anticipating, but never mind. It was okay. Now, there is pretty much only one area now which I need to do a little bit in, and to be honest, it's just a little bit of white. Get a bit of white, tiny bit of brown, and this might not be brown enough, so I'm going to go to the raw umber. That's it. Look, I don't want white. I don't want it white, but I do want it off-white. It's too off-white. Make it a bit less off-white, Martin. That's better. Bit of dip. Now the solvent I'm using is just odor-free solvent, so it doesn't smell. That's better. So this is just the tops of rocks. It's just got sunlight in there, and that's all it is, I think. I don't think it's anything else. Good. It tends to come down here, but I'm not so sure I want it to do that, so I'm going to keep that out. Just here in the image it tends to drop. I don't like it, so I'm going to not do it. Bit of something in here. Where else? A few patches in here, but I might just stick that in. Maybe. Maybe not. See how it goes. Oh, I think it's okay. Oh, that's the green. Yes. Let's stick a bit of black in it. Again, just messing that up. When I say mess up, I don't mean literally totally mess it up, but I do mean make it messy. Don't make it too neat. Make it a bit messy. It'll help your painting because nature is messy. There's stuff all over the place. Yeah. There's no elves in the forest cleaning up. Well, if they are, I haven't seen them. Couple of lighter bits going in. This might be a bit dark. Not that tree, this tree. It's like a bit of dappled light coming in down that tree. It's all right, we can complicate that next time. Right. Let's have a quick think for a moment. It won't take long. Don't normally think. Is there anything else? Now, the risk here, I mean, it's done. It's finished. We're ready. This stage is finished. So what am I doing? Why am I still fiddling with this painting? It's kind of, yeah, sometimes you kind of feel, oh, there's a bit there, there's a bit here. You know, we're all a bit human. Some of us less than others, but, you know, we are human, so therefore we can flit. We can think, oh, look at that, it could do. We could make this shine. And I'm the same as everybody else. So, don't be too harsh. This is quite dark up here. So that helps the game if I make it darker. It's less work to do next time. Alrighty. And the tree trunk itself, I don't think I'm going to get it better than that because it's a bit wet. Something going over here. Up there. Okay, well, yeah. I'm not sure I want to put those in yet. I'd rather leave that for another time. I'm just going to soften the edge on that because I don't want anything too permanently rigid in there yet. See what else. I think we're pretty much done on this. I know I've been saying that for probably 5 minutes now, but I think I'm happy. This is me happy. Yeah. This area has grown a bit out of proportion, but you know, no one's going to know that. It's fine. If this had been a portrait and this bush not in the right place, or the nose not in the right place, ears too low, eyes too high, we'd be in trouble. But we're not painting a portrait, we're painting a forest. Doesn't matter. If a tree, as long as a tree looks tree-esque, it's okay. I mean, it could be really tutoristic. Yeah, tutoristic. That's an interesting one. I could be the tutor and say, well, you haven't got that right, have you? But really, you know, who's going to know? I'd rather you have fun. We will learn. Maybe it might take a week or two, or a month or two, or even a year or two, but you'll know when you're getting it right. You don't need me telling you, oh, that's wrong. As long as it looks, I mean, look at it. I think we did okay. Yeah, there's no squirrels. There's no deers or bunny rabbits' ears poking up from anywhere. But it looks like a forest. I'm happy. Right. Well, thank you ever so much for that. I think this is the end of the blocking in stage. So we've had the design sketch in charcoal, the Imprimatura underpainting, This is the blocking in stage done. Next bit will be complicating the blocking in stage. So taking this yellow and making it more complicated. Now, how more complicated we make it is up to us. You can keep it loose. That's going to take a bit longer to show you how to do, but you can do that. It's easier to paint, I was going to say pixel perfect, but it's easier to paint something that you truly see rather than something you have to slightly imagine and be a little bit more creative over. But we're going to be doing both. As the weeks turn into months, we'll be doing pretty much everything on here. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. I hope you have a great week. I'm going to try not falling over or banging my head. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. All the very best, guys. Bye for now.